This mock exercise allows us to take another example of pricing decision, product profitability, and cost management. And this is a different case called the Montreal Company. And if you want to look at the technical materials, you might want to look at the previous video called Waterbury Company. And that was the previous question that we did, and allows us to explore different pricing methodologies. So let's take a look at this question. So this question, Montreal Company, let me just make it a bit bigger. Montreal Company is an electronic business with 8 product lines. Income data of one of the product, XT107, for June is as follows. So let's take a look at it quickly. You got revenue, $100 each. Variable cost, direct materials, $35 each. Labor is $10 per unit. Variable manufacturing overhead is $6. Sales commission is 15% of revenue, so it's 15% of this $20 million. Variable cost is $5 per unit. And total variable and contribution margin is 5.8. Then fixed cost is $5 million to give us an income of $800,000. Dorval, an instrument company, has a problem with its preferred supplier of XT107. So it's a different company altogether. The supplier had a 3-week labor strike. Dorval approached us, the Montreal Company, about providing 3,000 XT107 at a price of $75 per unit. Now, how much are we selling that right now? We're selling for $100. They want to buy from us at $75 per unit. Marcotti informs that XT107 product manager Jim McMahon that she would accept a flat commission of $8,000 rather than a 15% revenue if special order was accepted. So instead of the 15%, she's going to want to accept a flat $8,000 commission. Montreal has the capacity to produce 300,000 units, but the demand has not exceeded 200. So in other words, they have excess capacity. They have the ability to fulfill this order, the special order, without sacrificing the regular customers. So if 3,000 units from order from Dorval is accepted, how much will operating income increase or decrease, assuming the same cost structure as in June 2012? Now, the second part says McMahon ponders whether to accept the 3,000 special order. He's afraid of the precedent that might be set by cutting the prices. And I don't disagree with that concern. Because if you think about it, right now you're selling for $100, and now if you accept the $75 per unit, are you actually going to cannibalize your own market? Are you going to then provide level of expectation for Dorval? If they come back and want to buy from us again and make us their preferred supplier, would that mean that they're going to expect it to be at $75? I'm answering a little bit of question 2 in advance here, but if you think about it logically, without even crunching through the numbers, you'll see that this is a problem with these special orders. By allowing you to accept these special orders at a lower price, even though our first part of the question will generate positive contribution margin, it may signal to other customers out there, if they ever find out that now we're selling this product XT107 at $75. And it also says the price is below our full cost of $96. I think we should quote a full price, or Dorval would expect favorable treatment again if we continue to do business. Do you agree with McMahon's analysis? So let's take a look at the first part, okay? So we're going to analyze the special order for Part A, for the first Part 1. So what is the revenue? The sales is 3,000 units. Remember, we have excess capacity. So I'm going to show you what happens if we don't at the end. Variable cost, that's all we're concerned about. Fixed cost is going to be relevant, right? Irrelevant. Fixed cost is not relevant in this case, because we're going to assume that that level of activity, fixed cost, is not going to affect. Because remember, the capacity that establishes that fixed cost is 300,000 units, and we're only at 200,000 units. So we do have the flexibility to at least accept those 3,000 units. Direct materials, we're told it was 3,000 and it was $35 per unit. Direct manufacturing overhead, direct labor, is 3,000 times $10. Variable overhead is 3,000 times $6. Now, other variable overhead is 3,000 times $5. And remember, the sales commission, he said he's willing to accept a flat fee of $8,000. Now, even though it's fixed, it's relevant because without the special order, this $8,000 wouldn't have been incurred. So that's why it's relevant. So total variable cost, or I'll call it incremental cost if you like, is 176. See if we want to compare it to the 225, contribution margin increases by 49,000. So based on that, right, we should accept the special order. So if special order is accepted, then the net income would be 800,000 plus 49. Okay, so that would be the operating income if it's accepted. Now, part 2 says, should McMahon be worried? I think we talked about the fact, oh, by the way, if there was no idle capacity, what would we do? Well, we would have to then figure out, is this number, we need to be able to deduct an opportunity loss. And that opportunity loss would be the contribution margin per unit that you would have normally made by selling to your regular customer. Okay? And the contribution margin for selling to your regular customer is basically the difference between that is $25 per unit, because the variable cost wouldn't have changed, right? So the variable cost wouldn't have changed. So let's say we didn't have a extra capacity. So right now we're making 49,000 divided by 3,000 is $16.25 per unit. Now, how much are we giving up? The contribution margin loss will be $25 per unit, which is the difference in the sales price. The variable cost, when they're the same, actually that's not true. Hold on. Okay, sorry. Scratch that. Let's do the actual analysis. So the regular customers okay, would have actually, it would have cost us, revenue is $100. Variable cost, direct material is 35. Direct labor is 10. Okay. Variable overhead is 6. And sales commission is 15% of revenue. So 15% of 100 is $15. And other variable cost is 5. So if I take total variable costs, is going to be 35 plus 10 is 45. 45 plus 6 is 51. Plus 15 plus 5 gives me 71. So the contribution margin is going to be $29. So $29 versus the contribution margin of 49 divided by 3 is contribution margin total, and per unit is going to be $16.33. So right now, special order is going to generate contribution margin per unit of $16.33. So if we don't have extra capacity, we're going to lose $12.66 per unit times 3,000 units, 38,000. This is going to be the loss. If we don't have extra capacity, this is how much we're going to give up from our regular customer versus how much we're gaining from that special order. Then we need to account for that, called an opportunity loss. So it would say, in this case, we would say we were not going to accept it because clearly it's going to create a loss. Now, for part B, but in this case, obviously, we do have the extra capacity. So we would have accepted the special order because it's going to generate $49,000 more. Now, for part 2, it asked us, should we be concerned? Remember, should we be concerned? The answer is, I think we talked about it earlier, we are concerned if there are no capacity issue, then of course we would accept it because in this case, $49,000 of income, immediate gain, is going to be a positive impact to the profitability. But in the that's in the short run. In the long run, it's going to create possibly problems with the price structure. If McMahon is right about thinking about future competitors or future price concession, then this may hurt the company, right? This may hurt the company, and the impact of that, should not be more than $49,000 worth of impact on the long run. Now, the other way of looking at it as well is that if Marcotti was willing to accept $8,000 of commission, remember, if he did that, that's the impact, right? 49. If he actually did not accept a flat fee and he decided to do that 15% of revenue, so 15% of 225 is $33,750. So this is actually $33,750, which is 15% of 225. So this is a flat fee. This is the 15% commission rate. Then what would happen? 33, so this is higher, isn't it? So this is going to be higher, 33,750 minus 8,000. It's going to be 25,750 less. So this will be 23,250 if 15% commission is used. So it's going to also matter because now you can see that profit isn't really that much more if they accepted the regular commission flat rate. So there's a couple of areas that McMahon should be concerned about. Now, McMahon talked about full cost. Does that make sense? Well, the answer is no, that doesn't make sense because we don't care about the fixed cost in these special orders. Now, over the long run, we do, but in the short run, we don't care about the fixed cost. So we're only looking at the variable cost. McMahon may be concerned that as we get closer to full capacity, you can see that accepting that special order is going to generate a loss. And McMahon should be worried about the fact that if this special order continues, the sales commission is she's going to be wanting to have that regular 15% commission and look at the impact on profit. Okay? Thank you.